Yeah.
So I'm not able to like how should I say screen share.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just screen share on the Discord, and
All
then
right. So we
if
we are live.
oh
All right. Oh no, it's all good. All right. Well, for anybody watching this either live or on YouTube, welcome. This is the New Eden development kind of touch base, kind of chill stream here. We kind of go over a lot of our progress recently and what we're going to do for the future, and kind of give you a look behind the scenes at how we do what we're doing. So joining me today, I'm Skyward River or Jaden. Joining me today are
this is Baritone Fox, aka Dylan.
and we have our newest development recruit. Did you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Nicholas, you go first. You go first.
Yeah, sure. Hello, I'm Niels. My name is Matthias. I'm from Norway, and I have mostly been doing the new inventory icons for the new updates here.
Yeah, he's been doing some fantastic work with that as well. We're going to be taking a look at that today. And then we also have one of our modelers and animators in stream today as well.
Yes. Let's try not to panic. I'm mainly an 3D animator. My name is Joaquin. I'm from Spain. I joined the team back in April, and I've been doing most of the some of the modeling and animating on the background un- until now.
Fantastic. All right. Well, first on the list today we have the new items that came out in today's update. Now, there's only a few new items, but they come with some new gameplay systems. Right now, the rings are not working for whatever reason. I can't seem to find the issue. They're working fine on my local build, but it looks like something on the network got them just a bit messed up here. But we will take a look at one of our other new items, the Executioner's Greatsword. Now, this one has a new... I'll be loading up the game here in just a bit. But this one has a tie-in with one of our new systems that can apply buffs or debuffs to our weapons and equipment and such. So I'm just going to log in really quick. I actually have a copy of it on my character right now. Alright, so as you can see, this is the new Executioner's Blade, but we do have this right here, which is a debuff. And all of our equipment and armor sets and whatnot can now have these systems attached to it, so you'll probably see a lot more of it going forward. In this case, it actually slows you down. It applies, I think, a 0.5 meter per second speed debuff. And that just makes up for the crazy amount of damage this thing does. It's also pretty slow in general, but it does a ton of damage and scales pretty well with our might and such as well. So as you can see, the rings have thrown off a bit of the inventory and such, but it does give you might and courage scalings to the C degree. We have +2 might and -4 endurance on this thing. You can find them right now from the crates, and we're actually looking forward to seeing some PvP with that. But before we get any further with items and PvP and such, Nihas, did you want to go over some of your new icons here?
Yeah. So I think for if you want to show up the icons, Baritone Fox got to pull up his stream since I'm on my phone right now.
Yeah, fantastic.
Uh,
Alright.
Should be up there for you guys now.
Fantastic. Alright, so I will load this up here. And again, if you guys are watching this live, we are very new to this. We're trying to engage a bit further with the community here, so we don't want to kind of, I suppose, blunder as we're doing this, but we no doubt will. So there's this. I'm just going to open this as a pop-out here, so we can kind of see it full screen as we go. All right, and I will close down my copy of the game so we can get rid of those sound effects. All right, so
Yeah,
here is
so
the items.
yeah, for the items we got here, I've been spending the last few weeks trying to come up with a style for the icons to try and upgrade the inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you can see here, there are the new icons.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you said you were trying to nail down a style for this, correct? And one of the biggest challenges for that was the claw icons. How do you feel about those now?
Oh yeah, I think they are pretty good right now. I still got some stuff to work on, I think, but
Mm-hmm.
they're a lot better than they used to be.
Definitely. Now, for those of you who don't know, the old claw icons, I think they were like total of 10 pixels. So, so these are a massive improvement for sure, and I quite like them. But for those who didn't know, the old item icons, they're actually screenshots of toon shaded, pixelized 3D models in a 2D plane. So in other words, they were really ugly. So these here, we're hoping to get a bit more of a crisp, polished look to them, and are actually helping us decide on more color choices as well. In game, the archaic guard set, which is the second set of armor there, the kind of burnished steel effect there. That one there, yeah. That one we had to actually recolor it to match these icons, and the recolor actually looks so much better than the last set there. So, yeah, these icons are helping out in more ways than just the inventory there. Now, a way that... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'd just like to mention that it's also very exciting. You can see in this area here, you can see a whole bunch of stuff that you probably don't recognize from the game. So this is a little bit of a sneak preview, like you can see right there as well, like some very exciting stuff coming up shortly.
Absolutely. Now, Fox is alluding to our update that we hope to have out by the end of August, which is going to be a massive content update, probably extending the game by a good hour or two, I'd say. Just by the amount of content we hope to have in there. But we are going to have a bunch of new enemy types, some new items, some new systems. Hopefully, this is a bit of a maybe here, but I'd love to have some instance party-based dungeons effect in there as well. So we'll see how that goes, but that is something that's on the near horizon. Maybe not for the August update, but hopefully before too long. All right. Now, as some of you guys know, we did have leveling up in our latest update there. So I'm just going to switch it back over to my screen here on New Eden. I'm just going to show up some of the new leveling effects that we've made to the game here. Now, leveling up beforehand in last week's update was a bit clunky. You had to level up at the Dream Shards, and then you could spend your points at like a different location, right? You'd have to go to your inventory and spend those. So I'm just going to switch it to the game screen here in just a bit. All right. So I now have 4,864 prana. Now, a lot of people actually asked why we decided on prana and what that means. Did you kind of want to go over that a bit, Fox?
Yeah, so in the lore of New Eden and the world of Hysteria, we have been leaning a lot on just kind of ideas of like real world magic and kind of some spirituality ideas. Like if you look into a lot of religions and stuff in the real world, they will kind of allude to, you know, occult kind of powers and everything like that. So since Hysteria is a future version of our Earth, we thought that would be a good starting point to kind of ground some of this lore that we're using. So prana, if you're not aware, is a Vedic term, so it's used in like yoga and Hinduism and stuff like that. It's generally a word for like kind of primordial life energy, similar to qi, if you know anything about traditional Chinese medicine, or like Tibetan culture or anything like that. But so yeah, it's just like a word for life essence that comes from some of these things. So once we get a little more of the story content starting to come into the game, which probably will be kind of like Sky said, probably not the August update, but starting to roll out soon after that, we'll be kind of providing a lot more context and exposition. Um, uh, just in relation to how we're the kind of nomenclatures we're using and how we're gonna just be talking about magic and what that means for the world and everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, prana is also synonymous with the word breath, right? Or like the essence of the word breath.
Yes.
Which is interesting because many, like the Navajo, a lot of First Nations languages, their word for life and breath are usually the same as well, and you actually find that all over the world. So that's what kind of inspired the breath effect when you either consume or absorb prana. So it, like right here, I'll show you. I'm just gonna increase my luck for this character. And you can see the Dream Shard is consuming your prana, and it plays that little breath effect. That also plays whenever you gather prana as well. And this kind of includes your, I guess, the nomenclature for prana and that the meaning of that word into the gameplay itself as well, right? But I'll level up a few more times here so we can kind of see just more of that effect. And now this Dream Shard is actually absorbing that those particles that are generated instead of just being like pushed into it or from a different space. So if I moved to this section over here, it would still be absorbed into the Dream Shard there. But now this is the kind of new leveling UI here. We're still going to touch it up eventually, of course. But now instead of having to go back into your menu or your inventory, you can actually view it from there. So beforehand, you'd have to go back here. And, okay, I leveled up. Now I could hit a little check mark by one of these stats, and it would level that up, right? Now it can be just done from there. It also shows you your stat totals as well. All right.
It looks a lot cleaner now than before.
Definitely. All right. Now, next up on the docket, we did have our talk about the website that actually is still a bit in our work in progress here, but did we want to show that off a bit there, Fox? I can open it on my side here.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you open up full screen. The mobile's still a little buggy, but
yeah,
full screen's working okay.
Well, fantastic. Yeah. Alrighty.
By the way, I noticed some have been talking in the Twitch chat here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's Glowwods here saying very proud of y'all engaging, and there's a few emojis here.
Oh, fantastic. So yeah, Glow Ads is our new community manager ads that will be we'll actually be talking about him just after the website speech here. But yeah, he is more than welcome to join the stream as well if he'd like for that section to introduce himself. Oh no, he says. But all right. Well, fantastic. So the website is just at playNewEden.com. We'll of course be working on this and trying to polish it up as much as we can. But as you can see here, we actually have plenty of material on this website, including some YouTube stuff, some more video clips, and properly sized and all that. Linked to our musicians, Parabang Records, that are working with us on New Eden. Their music is absolutely amazing. If you haven't yet, I would log into the game and fight Angkor Rem. He actually has his own boss theme, and it's pretty amazing. But we also showcase some of their music on our last stream, so you can go ahead and check out the VOD for that on YouTube as well. But we have but just a bunch of material on here, some lore, some such, and if you'd like to check it out, we do have that available at playneweden.com. We do plan on having some more up-to-date material on here before too long. Fox unfortunately didn't have much to work with in terms of up-to-date brand new stuff that we're working on.
Well, and we know what's coming too, so it's like you want to put you probably grab some more content from what we have, but when we know it's just going to get so much better and more interesting, you're like,
Exactly, right.
We'll
We don't
wait,
really want
yeah.
to yeah, might as well not put the work in now if we're gonna have it, 3 times as good in
show
less
off
than a month.
everything that's going to be changed in a month. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fantastic. So there's that for us there. We do have some more updates about the site coming up before too long, but for now, just know that it does exist and it's there. But all right. Next up, we have news on the community manager. This is our latest recruit to our staff. He goes by Ads, and he's on our Discord server now as well. Now, he will be in charge of running some possibly in-game events and such, and he'll be kind of going over some in-game events and such later on as well. Out-of-game events as well. So stuff like the armor contest, we'd love to have him involved in as well. And speaking of the armor contest, we actually have enough entries now to possibly host that before too long. So perhaps even next week or the week after that, during a stream, we can host the armor design contest. Now, for those of you who know, we did have the announcement of this a long time ago. But we wanted to have enough entries to make it an interesting affair. So I think we have enough of those now. So we'll be talking internally about the best way to do that, but look forward to that as well. But all
It'll
right.
be fun.
Yeah. So fantastic. For the next up on the list here, we do have... we do have some upcoming content to talk about. But before we do that, we'll actually pass it over to our modeler or our newest modeler / animator, and he can go over some of the stuff he's been working on. Does that sound okay?
Yes, of course.
All
Now,
right.
if you will let me just share my window for a moment.
Yeah.
All right, that should be on the screen.
Fantastic. You're live.
All right. So, just to start off, there was a sneak peek on the Discord like a few weeks ago of something that's coming up. Like everyone that's active on the game knows that the existence of the current weapons, the stabs, the spears, the swords, the claws, and some more variety. But Sky, just tell me, what is heavier than a greatsword?
I would probably say a great axe, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's
Fantastic.
correct. This is one of the upcoming weapons.
Awesome. Now, do you have
yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. It's part of the. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, all right. So did you have any animation talk for us here? So, kind of guiding us through your process of animation for something that, of course, is weightless in the program and in game even, but something that you have to portray such massive weight for.
Yes. So when I was thinking about the making of how an axe will be wielded, first I had to think that it will be something massive, something that you'd have to wield with a lot of strength behind it. Like you'd have to put your back on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can like find it, yes. I can find the.
There's a lot of animations, yeah.
As you can see, I've been busy.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, there are literally hundreds of animations in New Eden already, and that number seems to only be going up.
Yeah, I stopped counting a long time ago.
Yeah, there we go. This is it. So what you're saying here, it's what you'd expect to see, like using the axe with light attacks, like the normal attack. It has kind of a delay because it's supposed to be a powerful weapon. It's something that with 2-3 hits probably probably slay whatever it's in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it will probably be hard to throw you off if anyone allows you to actually charge up all of that power, all of that raw power, and
Yeah, so like lots of poise, very hard to stagger you out of these attacks just because of the weight behind them. Yeah.
yes, precisely. It's more the momentum of the weapon rather than the
The strength of the user, yeah.
Yeah.
rather than the ability of the player to actually be to actually be poised.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Now I can see here you actually have the like the shoulders shake and everything from the impact.
Yes, it's something that it's hard to wield. Like
Mhm.
it's not practical at all. It's something that you probably just find the ground and you have no weapons and okay, screw it. I'm going to use this however I can.
Yeah. Now stuff like this where when you have to animate something that's obviously so heavy, but you can't really attach like a mass to it, correct? Like that, we're not doing motion capture or anything like that. So having to portray that weight, does that come with its own challenge in terms of animation?
Yes. So you can see I want to show some failings of the animation.
Yeah.
So for the movement you have stuff like if I can, yes, there we go. You have stuff like this, like the character can't even turn to move. Like
Mhm.
it has to go to the left, to the right, like without even looking at the direction he's going in. It's just focus on whatever it's looking at.
Mhm.
However, when it's going to the left, I had it's kind of similar, but it doesn't really doesn't really feel it doesn't really feel good enough with the weight, because as you know, this right here, it's kind of the center of the weight, like with all the metal over there. Uh,
Yeah. Now
so
the
I had
slope of the
yes.
back and the bob of the head as well, stuff like that can really add on to that portrayal of weight. Yeah.
Yes, I I did my best to actually portray most of these details, uh, like the weight of the weapon, of the moveset. It's something that should be iconic,
Hmm.
if anything.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. And so this is probably what you've been working on most just recently, correct?
Yes, recently.
All right.
Before before the access, however, uh, do you mind if they take a sneak peek of some extra stuff that's coming?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So, right now there is nothing much in terms of communication with the player base, among the player base. Like, there is like a bow, for instance, before
Hmm.
doing duels.
Yeah.
Well, I've been also working on stuff to help the players communicate without the use of chat. This this is a bit of a complex way to say yes.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. So just more in-game emotes, yeah?
Yes, more in-game emotes. Uh, there's not that wide of a variety, but it's enough to portray most of what the people wants to portray. The I admit, over here, I kind of went over my head and just did what I thought was uh, fun and something that the player would like to use 2 3 times to see what the hell is that.
Yeah. Well,
And
honestly,
something
the oh, go
you
ahead.
would
Sorry.
want to use before a boss.
Yeah, exactly. Getting pumped up, hey.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you guys have much experience with it, but back in the day, even actually today, if you go on to, like, if you start playing Dark Souls and you go, if you kill somebody, you go invade somebody, you kill somebody, they're going to emote at you, and the community has taken to one, which is the point down emote, right? And it generally
Yes.
points down at the corpse that they've just killed, and in a form of like disrespect, yeah. Now we don't want anything like, of course, nothing too BM like that, but we do want some just a little bit of spice there, right? So I can definitely see that the big waving their finger no emote being pretty popular in PvP and such.
The idea is that the most of these emotes should be used like not only for their intended purpose. Like it's kind of the charm of the online on the off. I think it's more of the charm of the online experience of Dark Souls, like the emoting of the players, because they can't exactly communicate with each other using a chat.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no text chat, and just the social integration of having just emotes instead to communicate. So every action that the player takes, it takes on more than what you're seeing, right? There's a social connotation to a lot of the emotes and such.
Yeah, there is a context. There is a context.
Yeah.
Like when you're about to duel or when you're dueling, if your target finds the time to go back and like do this to you, then I mean you wouldn't wish the best for that person, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. All right. So yeah, in terms of emotes in terms of gameplay as well, right now in game, the bow emote, which is the only emote in the game right now, it takes one of your hotbar slots, right? And we are going to be having a second hotbar specifically for emotes. So you're going to be able to fit 5 spells at any one time into your hotbar. And this is a crafted number. It's not just something arbitrary. We do want the player to only have access, because if you're playing a really magic invested character, or just like a lot of geared players as well have access to a lot of spells, we don't want you to have like 2 million mana and then just dump out 30 spells on somebody and there's nothing they can do about it, right? So the way that the hotbar works and the way that you can only have access to 5 spells at one time, or 5 skills at any one time, it is going to relate strongly to your character build. So for instance, if I am a let's say a luck skill player, or have a luck skill build, I'd probably want skills that worked in tandem with each other and with my specific stats that I've chosen, right? So and it depends on what the weapon type I'm using as well. So perhaps with a luck skill build, I'd be wanting to run maybe 2 traps, maybe 1 or 2 heavy damage spells that I can hit somebody with while they're in a trap if I've got them, and maybe a like a CC spell like the current Gust spell in game that pushes people in a certain direction. So right, I could lay down a few traps, maybe try to push them in. Maybe I have a ring that drops caltrops behind me when I dodge, right? So I could possibly dodge through somebody, use a Gust spell to push them back into the caltrops, and maybe a trap I've laid there as well. So stuff like this will have a great context to how your in-game gameplay, or like the PvP and PvE gameplay will focus on. But having a second hotbar for specifically emotes will kind of help you with that social connotation as well. So for those of you that know, we are toying with a small invasion-esque concept for dungeons. So if you opt in, you can possibly be invaded by another player that will try to also, on top of the dungeon that you have to face, you'll have to face this other player in ambush as well with your party. And now this is just this isn't in game yet, and we are still kind of toying with the idea because we don't want to ruin the experience for anybody. But if we have it as an opt-in experience, it'll be a bit more lenient, and you can only get invaded if you want to be invaded for perhaps extra rewards and such. But having like a second wheel for your social emotes and whatnot, we think will be a lot of fun because you don't have to sacrifice any of your player build, but you can have just really quick social interactions that you don't have to type out, stop everything, type out a bunch of text, and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? You can just hit the wave key instead, right? So stuff like that, we really can't wait to get in game. We'll actually probably have that second hotbar out before too long with some of these emotes in game as well for you. But yeah, did you have anything else to add on there, man?
No, that was most of what I intended to show.
Fantastic.
Just know that I'll be working on definitely something more complex than that show of facts that I got there.
Mm-hmm.
And as a certain Final Fantasy XIV producer will say, please look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. So next up, we do have a bit of a chat. I will have to get going here before too long. I do have a bit of work to do today still, and I've got some fixes to do for the actual game itself, because the rings at the moment, I wanted to show that off today, but it was not in the cards, as it were. So we have to go over a bit of upcoming content that we are looking forward to. Now, rings, of course, are going to be a bit more forefront. So right now we have the Shroomkin ring, which is dropped from the Shroomkins. Once that is fixed, you'll be able to equip it, and it has a unique buff that is an on-hit effect. So if you take damage while you're wearing this ring, there's a 15% chance that it will shoot out Shroomkin spores at your attacker, and it applies like a small damage over time effect as well as a small slow. But rings especially are going to be something that you will incorporate into your build, right? You'll have 2 ring slots, and so you can mix and match any 2 different rings. You won't be able to stack the same 2 ring, I don't think, unless we could decide to do that later on. But at the moment, we don't want to have, somebody puts on 2 Shroomkin rings, and now they can't get hit without trading damage, like regardless. So stuff like that we want to probably steer away from, but we will have similar effects on 2 different rings that might not be as strong as just 2 of the same ring, correct, right? But for rings, we want to have a lot of different effects. I mentioned earlier I had this, we wanted to have a ring that will give you caltrops drops on your dodge, so as you dodge or roll, you'll leave behind caltrops behind. Stuff like that is completely possible with this game system we have in right now. We don't have to add in any code for that. We don't have to add in any new models for that, etc. So we actually just need to just develop it. And much of this, we probably won't have 24 rings in game before we have the content to support that, because right now, as many of you know, the builds currently are supposed to be just testing out our networking, finding any bugs that could cause a problem. Like today, I should probably start doing these updates maybe a few hours before the stream if possible, because of course when there's a problem when we have a stream coming up, can't really solve that yet. But yeah, stuff like this ring bug at the moment, that's what we're trying to catch right now, right? Just any flaws in our fundamental core code before we start really expanding and just dumping out bunches of content. And I can say we are super, super close to having that completely done, where we can just import our new graphics, our new models, our new animations, and just build content and not have to worry about, first Sky has to program, spend 20 hours programming this thing in, or first we have to have a server infrastructure. Right now we have, of course, one of our members of staff, Proxy, he goes by. He is a software engineer and a web designer. But he specializes in server infrastructure. So we are in very, very good hands when it comes to kind of splitting up our servers, sharding them, and keeping them in good order for expandability and just stability as well, right? You guys may have noticed I'm not sure if anybody was playing at the time, but we did have our first ever server crash today, and that was due to part of the ring bugs. But our servers are usually running 24/7, and they've not crashed once besides today. Now, they will go down from time to time when our server machines are due for an update or something like that, where we have to restart for maintenance. But coming from games that I used to develop where the smallest bug would crash the entire server, it is a really big step up for when we have, we got 20 people online that we're all testing out different things, and somebody ran into an error and the server stays up. To me at least, that's miraculous, and it really, really helps. So yeah, we can't look forward, or we can't wait for that as well. But in terms of upcoming content, we'll have more items, more mobs, a new map, and possibly some story stuff in there as well. But fantastic. Did anybody have anything to add on?
Yeah, glad we're really out there making history.
Yeah. Fantastic.
With the crashes and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there isn't, like, I keep looking. I have never found another game that's doing what we're doing, right? Like, I keep on looking for anything remotely Souls-like and online in this fashion, right? And I can't find it, which is both really cool because now we are going to have, like, the monopoly on our market that we're inventing, right? And this whole genre, because we're going to be the first one there. But it also kind of sucks because we can't look at other games that came before us and, okay, what problems did they have? How can we avoid those problems and such, right? Because if we're in a genre that's unfounded, we don't have anything to look up to, right? And you guys may notice I have very liberal inspirations from, like, Dark Souls and Legend of Zelda and Metroid and all this, but that can only go so far when you're developing in what, at least I believe, to be a new genre. But yeah.
Well, not to mention that, like, MMO is a subgenre where you usually don't tend to see a lot of experimental stuff. Like, if somebody's making an experimental project, it's usually not going to be something as large as an MMO. But at the same time, so that it makes it a little scary as a dev, but at the same time, you're never going to see anything new, and you're never going to see the genre grow if somebody doesn't step out there and say, hey, we're going to try something a little different. So try not to reinvent the wheel too much, but it's why we appreciate all the feedback and everything that we've been getting, because we'll freely admit that not everything we're doing is something that we technically know how to do, because we're making it up as we go along.
Yeah.
Not that we don't have a plan, but obviously there's a lot of experimentation that goes into it.
Absolutely. It's just something as... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a bit scary, isn't it? Like...
Oh, absolutely.
You see a lot of people commenting on the internet or any Souls like group going a Souls game in a MMO format can't work. It is not built that way, or similar stuff like that. So it's kind of a challenge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
And
yeah, but I think we're definitely onto something here. So
I fully believe so as well. Yeah, and honestly, it is such a great help to have such an awesome community that are helping us test these builds and giving us their great feedback and bug reports. So as some of you watching may know, we've had our builds up for, I think, 4 months now of just consistent uptime for our builds. Yeah, it might even be longer.
Like that, yeah.
But we've gotten nothing but fantastic feedback and bug reports. So a lot of the stuff that we're adding even today, it's directly due to some of our feedback and suggestions. And the way that 900 people can find bugs is a lot faster than me and Fox and just the staff team, right? Trying to go through and find all the bugs. So it really just gives us that oomph that we need for fixing everything before we get too big and before we develop too much, right? Because, for instance, this ring update, if I had launched like 50 rings, for a new content update and this happened, that would be disaster. So just the way that we have people able to test. And for anybody that doesn't know, the ring thing has to do with the way it's dropped onto the ground. It's a rare drop, right? And I like, if I wanted to test this myself, I'd have to go in and kill, what was it? I think I had to kill 20 shroomkin before I got it to drop for me. I'd have to go do that, which takes a certain amount of time, just to test it the way that a player would test it. Because I can spawn it into my client as a developer, but that might not work the same way as it does when it's dropping from a mob, the way it would for a player, right? So
yeah,
having all of you guys help out with that testing and just streamlining that process for us, it is really awesome, and we are just very blessed to have you guys with us.
Yeah, and Sky, while you're talking about testers and stuff, we it's kind of funnier because we already have people speed running the game.
Absolutely. Now, actually, I'll see if I can load one of these up here. Now, there is some like bug abuse here, but I'm okay with it because it is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna open this up on my side.
It's if it's in the game, it's fair play, right?
Exactly. So I'm gonna be showing a quote unquote speed run by Eru, which is one of our foremost speedrunners in the community here. But they gave us some great feedback, and we couldn't be happier with them for their bug reports and their suggestions.
Speaking of suggestions,
Mhm.
I'm just reading right here on the new Eden Discord. Kane TM is asking the following: can a command be added to respec skill points, so no new characters have to be made?
Absolutely. Now, this is something I wanted to have in for this update, but unfortunately, I just didn't have the time for it with my work schedule. But for I could probably even have that up in either later today or tomorrow. Now, it won't be that easy come the full game, right? Like you'll have to invest some time into respecking. But for while it's just this first 10 levels of progression and this small map that we have starting out, where there is going to be a command at the dream shards that you'll just hit a button and it'll respec you. So you don't have to jump through any hoops for that or anything, and you don't have to make new characters and spend time grinding experience to try out different builds, especially while we're in this heavy testing phase.
Actually, there's something on that note that I wouldn't mind giving a little tease for.
Oh, yeah.
This is by no means any kind of promise or anything, but I know that you and I, Sky, have talked about not even stopping just with skill points and also being able to change the appearance of your character to some extent, like just in the middle of your game. Because I know for me that's something I'll start an RPG and then like a couple hours in I'll just be looking at my character going, oh god, why did I make that choice? And not to give too much away about the story, but we have a device in there somewhere that will make certain things like that make sense. So that's also something that we're kind of like just customization of your character in just all forms is something that we're very we're taking seriously in New Eden.
Mm-hmm. Now, touching on that as well with the appearance changes, because right now, of course, if you play the game, you know that there are skin tones and you can actually adjust your body weight as well. And the way that technology works is actually really, really cool. I haven't really seen that before in a 2D game at all. So that's all Fox is doing as well. He's a bit of a genius when it comes to that kind of stuff. But another thing that we're going to have is, and hopefully soon, is hairstyling. So I don't know if you guys noticed even in here, when he's creating a character. Oh, I'll switch it back here. You can see the hairstyling coming soon. And this whole window is going to be redone, where right now it's just kind of quick and dirty. Oh, your name, your heritage, all that.
And we'll be adding a lot more options, like for many more skin tones and like gender options as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and be really really inclusive, because we know a lot of people feel a little excluded from a lot of video game character creation, and we want to try and remedy that a bit.
Exactly, and especially when it's a 2D game like this and it's all pixelized and everything, just having that inclusion in there, right? So that you can, even if the customization isn't as deep as you'd like, we will have the ability to at least project onto there, right?
Yeah,
so.
totally.
Yeah, because like, you know, if I pick the skin tone, you know, one down from completely Caucasian, you know, people might not notice that, but I'll know, right? As the player, I will know. Okay, that I can actually put myself into my character's shoes here. But back on the hairstyling, really quick, we do plan on having cloth physics on a lot of our hair, so. The Fox has actually made a bunch of really cool hairstyles that we'll be able to customize both color, length, and like different shapes and whatnot. And it's going to have cloth physics on it as well. So the way the capes work in game right now, that is the way it'll be able to work for our hair. So they'll be able to wave as you run and stuff like that. And one other thing, because we were wanting to keep this like a bit on the download to see if people would notice, but honestly, we got 900 some people, or almost 1,000 people in our Discord right now. We got 13 viewers on here. I doubt most of them will watch the VOD if they missed it. So we're actually going to try to include some real-time hair growth as well. And so if you start off at a smaller length, the hair will actually be able to grow. We might have this as a toggle option because, you know, some people might not want to take the time to go fix that up if it gets too long and such. But yeah, did you have anything to comment on that front there, Fox?
Well, it's just that I love that feature. I've been like, because I don't know if you guys saw my video, the time lapse with that Hydrock enemy, but you can probably tell that I love my beards and my hair. And when I played Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time, that was like the first game I ever played where it's like your hair grows in real time and you have to shave your beard and everything, and that was like literally my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
So we were talking about hair, and then I go up to Sky and I'm saying, can we have real-time hair growth? I want to be able to shave my beard. And he said, yes, I will make it so.
Yeah,
So,
now it is worth
cross
noting
our
a bit.
fingers.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is worth noting really quick as well that you you probably won't be able to notice it as much as in Red Dead Redemption or like The Witcher 3 or anything like
Yeah,
that.
we only got so much detail to put in.
Yeah, it might be like
We'll see if it works.
your ponytail
Yeah.
grows by like 2
So-
pixels, you know.
Yeah.
So Fox, I only have a question for you regarding Red Dead Redemption.
Yes,
you
yes.
say you like that system, that hair growth system, but did you shave your beard?
Well, I did. I would go. I'd be rocking a mustache sometimes. Then I just let it, just kind of like I do in real life. Like I'll just like grow it out until it gets ridiculous, and then I'll think like, man, I just got a blank canvas here. I can do whatever I want.
Yes, because
It was
there's
actually-
a difference, you know.
And it was actually fun in that game because you would. Now we're just making this into a Red Dead Redemption stream, but it was cool because you could actually take like what your character's going through in the context of the game and the story, and you'd be. It's just like it seems like such a small thing, but it adds so much to the role playing because it's just one more little level that you have to express. Your experience within this story and within the game and everything. So I think it's like it's kind of funny, like as a dev you kind of throw these little things out there and it seems like such a small thing, but it actually adds like so much depth and agency to the experience. So yeah, I any little things like that, like little details like that, I usually really like.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about it for today's stream for me, at least. I do have to get back to work, and I gotta fix up some of the bugs in today's update. But
Yeah.
I will be getting on that. We will. I think at least I will try to start doing these streams weekly on Sundays, probably around this time here. Depending on what devs, what members of staff are available, we can have different guests every week. But and we will probably start a New Eden specific or Mayor Wanderwolf Studio specific Twitch channel. So it might not always be at this channel here. But if we do make a change like that, we will of course announce it on our Discord. But yeah.
Right on. Thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah, keep enjoying New Eden.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thank you all for, of course, for your continued support. And yeah, hope you all have a great weekend and are enjoying the starts of your summers.
Good night, everybody.
What are you talking about? I'm halfway finished with my.
Oh no.
It's Monday for me already.
Oh my goodness.
Like my
It's
summer
like
vacation. is
17
almost
time
over.
zones on the team.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I should probably be asleep for tomorrow.
I'm so sorry, guys. Well, hey, have a good one, and yeah, enjoy, everybody.